and then you get excited. It's a relationship you've never, ever even imagined. For me, it's like my connection with nature again. It's not helping the dog and you're not communicating. Think about like animal communicators come to me for dog training. I was successful. Like I could get like a 7-year-old service dog trained in like 3 months.
Hey guys, welcome back to Savage Systems Podcast. This is number 3. We have Megan Perkins out of New Mexico with Rescue Dogs Training. Guys, we're just super excited to have Megan on. She has a really incredible business. We're going to dive in and find out some cool things, how she started the business. So really these with her dog training company she noticed a kind of a gap in the market. They were saying euthanize them or rehome them. And so Megan's like, hey, I'm going to fix this, right? So this episode is about turning chaos into calm and using nervous system science, communication, and real systems to save dogs and build a business. So we are super excited. Miss Megan, welcome to the Savage Systems Podcast.
Thank
Hey,
you.
tell us a little bit, give us the goods. Like, hey, tell us like what you do, and yeah, tell us how it works.
So I rehabilitate all dog behavior. So, because I don't really even care what the behavior is, I know it's just the nervous system, right? So, like, if I can get them, and I spend a lot of time getting the trust and the confidence, I do, uh, relationship based training, which is why I give them space. I don't come towards them. I don't force them to create. I don't force them out. And if you look at a nervous dog, that means fight. You walk towards that dog, that means you're coming to fight. You hug that dog, that means that you're fighting that dog. You use words, that means danger. So, like, we have a lot of really tolerant
So
dogs. So,
are people coming into you and going like, hey, I have a dog that is, I'm having problems with? Is it like any ages? Is
yeah.
it like whatever it is?
All ages, all problems, everything. And, and it's like, it's a very emotional thing. So whenever I bring up my mental health, because my dog, I trained, that's how kind of I started for my anxiety. Ever since I've had him, my emotional regulation is awesome. And so then I took him, he was a therapy dog before then, and I took him to a class, special education class, and there's this one autistic kid that was nonverbal, and he said this is the best day of his life. And I was like, dogs change everything, okay? Because in my life, throughout my whole childhood, I would have not survived without dogs. Even though I was like, well, I love you so much, and you're biting and you're peeing and everything. Now I know, but so I do all this in honor of them.
That's
And
that's
so
great.
what I was thinking is it's a lot about my own journey with my mental health and my behavioral health and my actually yoga certification, learning about my nervous system, learning about how your breath changes, and also like, that my energy field is big. Everything's affected by that. And even the brain imaging that they have now is like your brain with your dog after like a few weeks, they're completely synced.
Nice.
And yeah, and the thing is like, so, and it's so freaking interesting. I can talk about this forever. So, okay, so think about like, dog has a mammalian brain, right? And then we have all that crazy cool human stuff on top, right? Whatever it's called. So it's like, so we can, have rational thinking, verbal communication, all that jazz, right? When you do this, you are in the mind of your dog. So what I always tell people is shut up and look what your dog does. Your dog's going to sit and look at you in the eyes. Okay. So I can go not talk to a dog, put it on a leash, do this, and it'll sit and look at me in the eyes. I can get obedience in 2 seconds because we have that relationship and I point at their butt, I point down, I point.
So do you think this is more, it's really just about teaching the owner almost than
Yes.
teaching the dog?
Well, and it's not like I
And
don't
I'm, you
want
know what I
to
mean
like,
by that. Like, I'm
yeah,
not saying like, but
yeah.
if you're saying these dogs are like paying attention to us, and if you can get their obedience and their attention in a very quick, short period of time, that's powerful.
But a lot of times I have to bring them to my home. So here's an example. So I can go into a house and I go see those dogs, and those dogs tell me everything about those people. I could tell if those people fight. I could tell if somebody yells at the dog. I know who's anxious. I know, what the dog's, sort of like relationship is with each other. Because a lot of times somebody will get a dog and then their new big dog is like the bad one. I'm like, no, your little chihuahua taught that dog that energy, and that's how that dog's expressing it. So I'm like, why is my dog doing do this? And I'm like, because they are like, "Ooh." When your dog is jumping from the couch to this, that's how their brain is. And all they want is somebody to get them down. So that is why I use a crate. I did not use a crate with Kenny and he got anxious. But all the research that I know about crates, if I have an unhealthy mental dog, right, with behavior issues, I'm going to use a crate because it's going to hit their instincts. It's going to say mom. It's going to say nature. It's going to say you could be calm because you're safe, right? So it naturally gives them that nervous system, but it takes a long time. Like for us, we get excited and then we can come down in an hour or so, right? A dog does it 6 days. So even if you're like, hey, that's 6 days of recovery. And if they don't get that recovery, that's when you start seeing these weirdo behaviors, right? And so that's why I so super focus on the nervous system. And then when the nervous system is rehabilitated, like a 4-year-old could do obedience.
Nice. And how did you figure out that you were like, let's just say good at this, right? To where you go, oh my gosh, because we were talking a little bit earlier
Mhm.
before we started is,
Oh,
you know,
sorry.
you have a big background. You have a background in tons of different other things, but you just fell into this. Like, where was that point where you were like, oh my goodness, there's a huge need for this? And
Well,
I can actually turn this into a bit, you know, turn it. I love
yeah.
doing it, and let's turn it into a business. Where was that like kind of turning point? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I was doing the rescue, right? So I was taking all of those dogs and like fixing them, and they weren't telling, and they wouldn't let me give education classes. They wouldn't let me help the behavior team. So if they go in and they give an aggressive dog a treat, doesn't work, they put that dog down. Okay.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, well, what I do is I don't give any treats or eye contact because that dog is terrified and I'm not going to scare it anymore, you know? And so that's what a lot of stuff happens with that, and people are thinking a lot with human emotions and not necessarily thinking about the needs of the dog. They're thinking about the needs of themselves. So they're not, so when you don't meet the needs of the dogs and you want the dog for yourself, which I love, your dog's going to go crazy and then you're going to get angry, and then everything's going to go nuts. Like, I can tell the energy in the home by the dogs. The dogs always tell me, and I do not know how I have that. I cannot explain it. And why? But I mean, I have a lot of research. It's not like I like,
Right.
right. But like, I've always been good with animals since I was little. And, ever since I've been doing this, I'm like, wow. When I was 4, I said, all I want to do in the whole world is help people and help dogs. And I was doing it like that. Right. And then COVID happened and everybody's dog was aggressive, remember? And so I would get those dogs, and people were just looking at me from videos. So then I would get those dogs from aggressive to off leash at the dog park over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Because I also have to teach these owners how to be the leader. Because they're like, oh, well, the alpha dog died, so this dog's alpha. I'm like, you're alpha. You have to teach this dog how to live in this world they do not understand with a bunch of mentally unhealthy people who are like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I can
and I think
tell that.
it's so important too, because if you think about it, I mean, I grew up with a dog. It's exactly what I grew up with a dog and I loved my dog, and we're so attached to our dogs that, it's kind of like they're truly are a family member,
Mhm,
and I think it's really cool that you've, let's just say, figured out, you've like, you know what, this is what we need. I can prove my concept of how it
mhm,
works. Obviously, you've been doing it for been in business for what, almost 40 years now, which is huge. Like,
mhm,
that's something that I guess obviously we see like different things, like, the TV shows of the dog whisper and all that stuff, which I would think is cool, but it's really cool to hear from somebody just like yourself, like a good
mhm,
local person, in a town that's like, hey, we're doing this stuff and we're helping people. And
mhm.
like, what's a timeline like for, if I come to
Sorry.
you and I'm like, Megan, I'm having problems with my dog, or I've had my dog for a couple years. Like, if you're going to tell me a layout, just how long is it going to take?
What
Like,
is the problem?
okay. You're asking what the problem is?
Yes, give me a problem. Give me a problem.
Oh, let's see here. Maybe they're always barking.
Okay, in the crate or out of the crate? Are you home or not home?
I would say let's just for example, let's just say out of the crate.
Out of the
And I
crate?
am home. But they're always
And you
barking at,
and you are home. So
yeah,
this is what I so this is how I do this. So what I do is I put my slip lead on, because that's the thing, is I use that in the house also, because you want to ignore the bad as much as you can and give everything to the good. So I'm not telling people not to talk to your dogs. I'm saying have them sit first and then as a reward do that. you know? So, so what I would do is because what they're doing is they're like, I see this. When I see this, I go, right? So what I do is I put them in those situations. Like every dog, like I put them in the bad situation, and then he start, and then every bark I go, boop, and just looking on my phone. As soon as he stops barking, I ask for a sit and treat. And so now when he sees it, instead of barking, he sits because he realizes that that's a more positive behavior and he gets more out of it than barking.
Hmm.
You
Now,
see?
when did
And then
you
if you say stop barking, then he's going to bark for the rest of his life because he's like, oh, if I bark, he's going to get angry and he's going to say
yeah.
something.
Now, when did you figure out, did you start doing this just kind of obviously out of the kindness of your heart? You have a huge love for people and dogs, which is fantastic because that's the business you're in. Tell us about
Mhm.
like that first experience where you were going, okay, I'm going to turn this into a business. And it's not because, you know, we're one, you just want to help people, right? But obviously your time's
Yeah.
valuable. Everybody's time's
Mhm.
valuable. So what was that first experience where you're like, okay, I'm going to charge you to actually, we're going to exchange, you're going to give me some money and I'm going to do this. Can you tell us
And that
about
was
maybe that
very
first
hard
one?
for me. That was very hard for me because I just wanted to do it for free and help everybody, but I got to help me to help them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, so like, it was me training Kenny to help me. So I couldn't get out of bed, but I loved Kenny enough to get out of bed and I knew what he needed, right? So
Hmm.
that got me out of public. And then that got people seeing me and like my dog and then the videos. And then people would ask me if they could buy my dog. And then from those videos on Facebook, that's how I started to get all these service dog jobs. So I would just start like charging 100 and then, and then I was successful. Like I could get like a 7-year-old service dog trained in like 3 months, right? I could fix over an excitement problem in less than one session. You know, like I can fix jumping on the counters in 2 minutes, and what I do is I teach them what to do to get what they want. So think about a dog in a crate and you're going to let them
Uh-huh.
out. What do they
Uh-huh.
do? They're looking at that door, right? That door is what gets them what they want. Like, you don't matter, dog. Whatever, dude. You're just a reward. You give me what I want, right? So, what I do is I open a little bit and then shut it, open a little bit and shut it until I can get it all the way open. And I'm standing there and they're like, well, what? I guess I got to look at her. And they look and they sit and they're calm. And then I let them out. So, what I just said is I'm the leader. I expect you to be calm in this environment. I do the same thing before they come inside and go outside. That's why I don't like doggy doors because everything bad happens in high energy, right? So even
Hmm.
if they're like behaviors that don't matter, there could be like a little change in energy and a dog fight happens. And then more dogs jump in. You know what I mean? It's like they can't help it. So, so yeah, that's how I stopped barking. I don't know.
That's
I mean,
that's
so I'm kind
awesome
of stream
though.
of
Like
consciousness.
it sounds
Like
well, it sounds like you're really good at it, which is awesome. Obviously, you've been doing it for 4 years, which is huge.
that's what gave me confidence.
Yeah.
And that's what's making me, like I'm working with this other woman, Mary, because I really want to empower younger women. Okay. Because I'm 4'11". I work with the scariest dogs you've ever seen.
Hmm.
And they trust me. And like I'm like, people's dogs run away from their house. Like it's crazy to me. Like I'm like, I can help you with that. Your dog's scared of thunder. I can help you with that. Dogs come to my house to get off meds. The meds are for the people, they're not for the dogs. I cannot I can I cannot rehabilitate a dog that's all medded up because they don't have the complex, that
Yeah.
cool human stuff. They're just like limbic system, like
Right. Can
and
you
when
give
you
us like
see
a
people,
can you give us
sorry.
like an example of like a recent where just tell me a story about somebody recent that you just maybe recently helped?
Okay, what kind of behavior?
Oh, shoot. You maybe one of your favorite stories in the last, couple months or the last couple
Okay,
of
my,
year
my
or year or
favorite
so.
story is I've rehabilitated an 11-year-old German Shepherd who has been anxious and aggressive to other dogs his whole life.
Whole life
And
for 11
he
years.
was, yes, and he was on 4 pills of those whatever antidepressants they give dogs that are for humans, whatever. But he was on that, and I was like, I'm not working with him unless we're gonna wean him off, right? So first time I worked with him, he was in the crate, and he's doing his nervous system reaction. Never look at it as like a great, it's a nervous system reaction, right? So, and he's had it for 11 years. So I sat there, I watched 2 movies, and I'm just like, make it easy, right? Like I'm all about lazy dog training. And then he finally laid down and relaxed, and I let him out. And then he was calm and all that stuff. And then I taught his mom how to show him that he's safe. because how I noticed is because I also trained her service dog, is I was standing there with their service dog and he was doing good. And as soon as he passed his owner to the dog, right? So it's her. So then so what I did, I would do that crate thing and I would make her, walk him, do the door and everything because she wasn't walking him. And he is friends with every dog. He's good with his service dog sister. He's good with all dogs. And it's because of his nervous fight, flight, freeze, right? And he's like, like and all I want to do is like, I'm so sorry. Like, I know this is awful because I know what that feels like from
Yeah.
trauma,
Right.
and then like I get him down and it takes as long as it takes. But then as soon as you get there, like then like the obedience takes 2 seconds, and then like they're excited because they know the routine, the boundaries. That okay, this is the routine, the boundaries. This is how my mom and dad show me who's safe, who's not safe. This is how I'm supposed to act in this room or this room. Like if you leave a dog in a room and you haven't taught them how to be in there and they shit or bite something, that's your fault because you haven't taught them. And then if you discipline them, they don't know because they have like a 2 second memory,
Yeah.
right?
So this
So
11-year-old dog, you completely changed them to now
mhm.
live probably a lot more peaceful life. Obviously,
And I
the
have
owner
the
probably
same
loves
kind of
it.
dog here right now that they were going to euthanize like 2 hours before I got the dog. And she's very emotional.
Wow.
Okay, I'm not going to say her name, but she's like going through a lot of
Yeah,
emotional stuff with her
understood.
daughter. And I could tell I saw it in the dog, right? So
Hmm.
this is the only dog that has bit me before, but it was like nothing. It was like this. That's a fear thing. This is all I have to protect myself, right? If a
Right.
dog is aggressive, that dog will not let go. I'm gonna do that, right? So, and you could see his eyes, like, the whites of his eyes. So, like, when you're working with dogs like that, you don't want to look at their eyes. And he's so terrified and unsure and does not know how to live in the world, right? And the only energy that he was like exposed to was that, right? So that's all he knows. And so he's like, he feels like he's in danger all the time because his mom is also in fight or flight and her nervous system is like that, right? So, yeah, so I brought him in here, and then I have 5 dogs of my own that I used to train, and also the dogs that I have trained. They come here for boarding, and so I have all a bunch of really good trained dogs to help these dogs, right?
Oh, that's even
So,
better. A little, okay.
yeah.
I
So,
like it.
like,
Little
oh,
surroundings, like, hey, we're all
yeah.
like this dog. You need to be like this too.
I do it in the house, right? So like my clients that I have them for years and years. Like I have relationships with them because if a bad thing happens, I go fix it, right? Like a service dog like organization, like 20 grand, you have a problem, sucks to be you, right? And FYI certifications, registrations, you don't have them because that causes boundaries to the disabled. No dog automatically has public access rights. Even if it's a service dog, if it has bad behavior, it's out of there. That's just
Hmm.
and a lot of people don't know that emotional service dogs, they're covered by the FDA. So your dog could live there. So just because you see a dog in a vest does not mean anything. And service dogs weren't naked also, FYI. But
Hmm.
what I do is I use the relationship that they have. I get that communication on point, and then I get them to focus. Okay, so like if I'm working with a veteran, right? Okay, so if you have PTSD, what do you notice first, right? A lot of them is the leg shaking. So what I'll do is I'll get them to shake their leg while they're not and give treats to the dog over and over. So that dog, when he's doing that, is gonna come touch him and will not leave him alone.
Hmm.
Right. So he's like, oh, okay, so I gotta bring myself down.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Then that's what Kenny does for me also. Like this is what I do. This is my so I'll be in a store and Kenny's like, you're embarrassing me. Stop. And then I go find a place and I put my legs out and he lays over my thighs and he lowers my heart rate and my blood pressure. So me being alone and being sick, I taught him how to be there for me and I have like the best relationship with him ever and like we don't talk because my goal is always connection and communication. So when I'm talking to you, I'm like when I'm with the dog and I go in like this, the more tired you are, the better you are. So I'm like, I didn't get any sleep. Let's go deal with the aggressive dogs.
So
Yes.
yeah, tell us about like, and that kind of leads into my next question about
Mhm,
you'd mentioned about your loving leadership. Can you tell us like a little bit about that? Like, what does that mean to you?
mhm. Okay, so a lot of people think, like when you're like, you got to be the leader, they're like, like that's not what I'm talking about. Okay, dogs do not really get language. So when you're gonna teach them, you're not gonna go sit because they're gonna be like, what the fuck you doing? Right? You're gonna say sit. You're gonna say it twice and then you're gonna wait because he knows what you want. And nothing can be sometimes you could do it, sometimes you can't, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if there's like a really important recall and they're I don't want to do it this time, they could get hurt. Okay. So when it's Kenny, I'm like, sit down, stay. Oh, that's a good boy, right? Because
Right.
I because I want him to get that uh direct thing. And I usually really don't even use commands with dogs. This is what I teach. Oh my God, this is awesome. So all you do is the only thing you teach your dog is their name. So every time you give them a treat, you put the treat to their nose, you put it between their eyes. And so my puppy is Jesse. So I'm like, Jesse, 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 Jesse. So he could be across the acre. I live on an acre. He could be across the acre. I say, Jesse, he comes running. There's something on the floor he's about to get. I say, Jesse, he looks at me and no longer does that, right? So it's like it means watch, it means leave it, it means everything. So all he knows is his name.
Hey,
So
do
like I
me a
really
favor. Do me a favor really quick. I want the viewers to be able to see you. There we go. Okay,
sorry, I'm
cool.
like
No, you're fine.
really bad. I train dogs for a living.
That's okay.
It's
But
so
you're
funny.
good at it. Like it sounds like
Well,
you're good at it and you love it, which is huge.
because these people like the emotions that they're using, I'm like, I completely get it. I've been like that, but I know I cannot help the dog or them if I'm like that. So I
Yeah.
could be in the car and I'm like, nobody's gonna listen to me. Like, what do I have to say? Like, ugh. And then I get there and I do it and then leave and I'm like, I don't even remember what happened. To be honest with you, that's usually what happens. But I go and they're like, nobody's gonna go crazy or like, you're not gonna sue me if he bites. I'm like, all right, y'all get as far away from me as you can. Because I get bit with the owner and then I take them both on the leash and then they tell me they're dog aggressive and then I bring my dogs and then they're good with those dogs.
Hey,
And
and
I'm like,
you said you talked about like there was an owner that thought you were being cruel, right? Like what
mm-hmm.
were you doing on that? Obviously, like
Oh,
we're all
oh,
protective of our dogs, right? But
yeah,
at the same time, they're coming to you for help. So
exactly.
tell us like a little bit about that story. And how did that
So
flip? How did that change? Like obviously the client was like, "Oh, you're being cruel" or whatever it is.
mhm.
How did that kind of tell us, walk us through like a little bit of
Well,
that?
I had to spend 2 hours explaining it to her. Usually, I
Hmm.
just send people videos. I don't want to work with anybody that doesn't trust me at this point, right?
Love it.
So I put the leash on my neck, and that's usually their issue. And I pop it as hard as I can because, like, oh, you're going to hurt my dog. No, actually, I secure it on the bone so it doesn't slide on the neck, right?
Hmm.
And I only use it for communication because it has action. So, like the
Hmm.
dog's ahead, I'm like, hey, wait for me. Hey, left. Hey, right. Hey, look at me. Right. So I'm communicating. Other people are using strength. And when you use strength, you're no longer a partnership. You're walking a wild animal, you know? That's pulling against pressure and they're revving and they're revving and they're revving. And so she thought, she's like, I can't use this leash that you gave me. The dog just keeps pulling. I'm like, that's because you're pulling. When the leash is straight, stop. Like, that's it. You
Yeah.
stop. And then they learn to get loose. And then you only have to do this boop, when you need to. Like when your dog looks at something and their ears go up, that's the first sign. And you pop with this leash, you move their eyes. Have them sit, wait for them to get and then go. Like if there's a scary situation, I don't have to run through it. I get there and I watch it happen, wait for the because then they're going to give up eventually, right? And
Yeah.
2 fingers literally on this leash because communication is not about strength. If it was, I couldn't do it.
Hmm.
And then eventually they're just like, oh, nothing's happening. Mom's not freaking out. Like they're all talking. They calm down. And then we walk on. No longer a problem.
Right.
Like I had one dog that was like super like run towards cars and like so I was working with her and then we got to the end of the street and because of the leash I was using, the dog is freaking out of the car sitting there on a loose leash. Like I'm gonna tell you, but I'm gonna sit here and I don't feel any pressure. It's like and it's because a lot of it is pressure. They feel pressure, they feel
Hmm.
you know what I mean? And so and it's a lot of communication and it's a lot of stopping.
Yeah.
Like if when the dog, I'm just like, okay, I'll just wait for you to get ready because there's a lot of scared dogs. So I could just hold the leash and and they'll stop and they'll pull and then they'll go that way. So I'll just hold the leash whenever they start to pull and I'll wait a minute or two until they get their bearings. And
Nice.
then whenever they do, then I keep going. But they get mad at me about the leash. Nobody wants to use the leash or the crate.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm doing a puppy, I can now potty train without a crate. And I the crate, the thing is all my crates are open and my dogs want to hang out in there more than they want to hang out in because I feed them in there, toys in there, treats in there. And here's the reason that a crate routine is so important. If something happens to you, your dog always has that to feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
If you somebody has to watch your dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. And when fosters take dogs, I'm like, please use a crate because that's three different locations, and that dog has no kind of stability. How is that dog supposed to trust you in your life? On top of their like crazy nervous system, like I would bite you too,
Yeah. Oh yeah. So if
you know.
there's
And you,
if somebody's listening right now, like, man, you know
Mhm.
what? I could really use something like this. Or maybe just could you give maybe just like a couple tips? Obviously, you went over a lot of really good information. So I'm sure anybody that's watching this is like, oh shoot, I need to start doing this. What are some like maybe just some small daily habits
Mhm.
that people can maybe just start doing? And let me ask
Okay.
you this: do you do this stuff online at all, or is this main
I
obviously
we
mainly
we
in
are
person?
working on it because I'm working
Cool.
with a bunch of nonprofits, and I work with every single rescue because here's what happens: they go to the rescue, and then they get out, they get the dog from the rescue, the dog gets aggressive, they come to me. I'm like, why don't y'all just make me the rescue? Like,
Yeah.
and so that kind of stuff happens. But what I would suggest is letting the dog decompress. Get a crate, go put that dog, cover that dog. Feed that dog in there. I'm not saying leave that dog in there all day, but the
Of
dog
course.
sleeps 75% of the day. And that's how I teach them to get what they want. So it's not just like, they're aggressive in there and then I get them to sit and look at me, but that's what they learn to do to get what they want with everything. So front door, food, everything. And I teach them everything with no treats because it's about trust and that relationship and then you have the treats. So that's what I would tell people is my biggest advice would be shut up. Biggest advice. Do do an experiment. Like, as people come home, like, hey, baby, oh my God, I told you not to do that. Did you hear me? I said, don't do that. I'm like, oh my God, just be quiet. They hear it in your brain. So, what I tell people like that are walking that are like kind of insecure, I'm like, I want you to look at that street sign, and in your brain, I want you to say, I'm headed towards that street sign. Follow me. I don't want you to look at the dog. I don't want you to wait for the dog. You just hold that leash and you walk. And then that dog always walks behind them. So, that's what, and then I want people to practice just calmness and being quiet. Don't let and try just one thing. Don't let your dog in from the backyard right away. Make them sit. Make them
Nice.
be calm. And that's the
Yeah.
thing is, yeah, they have a job and they love it. They know, okay, when I'm at the door, this is what I do, and then I get this, and I like that. But if everything's unsure, that's forget that. Make them earn it. Don't just give it to them, or they will take over. They will. It'll be their territory, and they'll start biting, and you'll be scared of your own dog, even if they weigh like 3 pounds. And
Have you ever
also,
had,
if you need me,
yeah, I was gonna say, have you ever had clients let's just be like, oh, this isn't gonna work or
mhm,
fire you or whatever it is. Does that happen? Or
mhm,
yeah.
yeah.
I understand like people are connected to their pets, right? They're like, hey, that's my baby. But at the
Mhm,
same time, they have to, you mentioned it earlier, they have to have they have a lot of trust in you
mhm,
to be able to do some things that, like you said, even with the German Shepherd of 11 years, that's
mhm.
never seen this type of training, and you're able to work with them in a very short period
Nobody
of time and
believes me.
change
I'm
their
like, I
life.
got videos.
That's good. You're documenting the journey. That's huge.
I get like clients will spend like an hour telling me everything about their dog, and then I go in, put the leash on, leave, and they're like, "What?" Because I go in there and I say, "This is our relationship with my energy,
Hmm.
right?" So I just want them to see what their dog is capable of, and then you get excited. It's a relationship you've never ever even imagined. For me, it's like my connection with nature again. And I feel like if we could rehabilitate more of these dogs, and we could use them, we could put them in schools. Like, where the school office has, the dog, or like, at psychiatrist's office, the therapist, the cancer center, because I've taken the dogs there and like it lights people up. So
Oh,
like
I'm sure.
you
They
could
love
save
it.
you could save that dog, you could rehabilitate that dog, and you could give that dog a job and a whole entire family
Hmm.
while helping people with their emotional health.
Hmm. Yeah, that's
Because like
huge. Well,
and like
especially at a time like now, right? I mean,
yeah, it's New Mexico's bad. There's no spay and neuter at all. The last bill
wow.
that they passed, was you cannot sell dogs in public. I'm like, Now they're just going to go do it in private and abuse them. Way to go, government. Hey, but most people that fire me, for the most part, are it's not because of my dog training at all. It's because of me personally. Like, like I wore a dress when I went there. Like, like
Well, and that's
like if somebody wants money, like if somebody needs money for something, I'll put it online real quick. I'm like, okay, whatever. She needs it, send it to her. And then this one woman called me a scammer. I'm like, dude, like, okay, contact her yourself. Like, her dog is a
yeah.
prolapsed penis, like I'm just trying to help.
Yeah, and you know what? That's just people in general. If they're, you would think, and obviously, like most people that are reaching out to you to, talk to you about the service, they have a
Mhm.
problem. You know what I mean? They're trying to fix their problem. They do have to
Yes.
be a little bit more open. Of course, not everybody's going to be a good
Mhm.
fit, but that's just if I own a restaurant, not everybody's going to like my food. You know what I mean? And that's
Mhm.
just how it is.
That was
But
hard for me for
for sure. Well, the rejection part of it, right? And it's like,
I'm
how do we
very
overcome
sensitive.
that? Yeah. And
Mhm.
that's okay. Like that's good. It just shows that you have passion for your job, which is huge because it's not just, hey, I'm not just taking your money just to take your
Mhm.
money. I want you to invest in your dog. And that's what I'm helping you invest in your dog the proper way
Mhm.
to get the proper train to where not only the dog can live a good life, but the owner can live a
Mhm.
good life too.
So if anybody wants, I would say go to Rescue Dogs Training on Facebook and message me, and I'll get back to you. I'm really trying to get better at the technology, but
Yeah, that's
saving
good
dogs
though.
is hard.
No, hey, one day at a time. You know what I mean? I always tell people, even with like technology and all sorts of stuff, is
Mhm.
you have to remember at one point, I didn't know any of this stuff either. You know what I mean?
And I'm
And
like, yeah, do not feel bad. I've messed up so many dogs to get to this point, like,
yeah,
and when you judge somebody, the first time you judge them, they get defensive, they shut down. And I did not help a dog at all, did I? Right? So I never judge anybody because nobody has this information. It took me a long time to get it, right?
of
If they
course.
pay me, they love their dog, and I do not judge. And then a lot of people, I'm just like, it's just lack of information, and they
Hmm.
think they're doing the right thing. Think about everything they sell at Petco. It's everything against everything mentally and behaviorally healthy.
Right.
Oh, yeah. And like, if there was less dogs, like if there were more spay and neuter, there's going to be less animal abuse,
So
right?
tell
There's
us
going
a
to be
little bit
less
about,
money spent on euthanasia.
oh, for sure. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about like your packages. Is every package kind of different for a dog, or do
Yes.
you just kind of
Yes. I
like
do
interview?
everything.
Do you do like a pre-interview thing, kind of a meet and greet, or how, if you will,
Nope.
and
I
then
work with every dog and any dog. So like
nice.
they're like, oh, well, do it now. But I'm like, nope, I'll work with you. No big deal. Because I believe I never give up on a dog. That is my mantra.
I love that.
Because people gave up on me. I was misunderstood. It was hurtful. And I
Hmm.
see that in dogs. And I want to, that's sort of like my outlet,
Yeah. So,
that's
what
my
do your
outlet that I
packages
see.
like range
Okay,
from?
packages.
Obviously,
Okay.
like, do you
So
do sessions or do you do?
so I do sessions. So I do like, you can do one session, you can do 4 session packages, 8 session packages, and that's, the different prices for single dog or multiple dog homes. If somebody tells you you need to separate your pack, they're lying. So just call me. Um,
Oh, there we go. There's a bomb right there. That's what
mhm.
I'm talking
And I
about.
will prove it. Because like I'm not gonna say it if I can't. I've seen it over and over, and it's like so exciting. Like when I'm in a job, I'm like,
Yeah,
because people are so sad. Like people call me and they cry for hours. Like I go over there and I hug them, and I have to tell them what I've been through so they don't feel bad. Because when I tell them, they feel guilty. And I'm like, this is not about guilt. This is about a solution. It's exciting.
oh,
So
that's
then these
good.
people get really excited, and then their dogs get really healthy. So then they meet their friends, and then they show their friends. And then so we're like helping the world get a lot more like, healthier dogs. And the thing is, you have one healthy dog, you bring all those dogs in, they learn from that dog.
Hmm.
Lazy dog training. One dog, and then all the other ones learn. I get another dog every 2 years.
That's great. So, what does your week to week look like? Obviously, you took time out of your Monday right now to hop on with us.
Mhm.
What does your week to week look like? Your schedule? Are you
It's fun. You know, I make my own schedule, and people that buy packages of sessions, I give them so much information. Sometimes they're good after one or two, so like I can see them again in 6 months. So they can make these trainings last forever, right? And I never ever see somebody every week. And I said, if somebody says that to you, they're lying, because dogs do not take in stuff that fast. And another
interesting?
thing is, dogs like
Interesting.
humans,
Hmm.
they learn different and they learn at different speeds. They go to different homes, they have different owners. So every dog that I work with I work with as an individual. If I train each dog exactly the same, it's not going to be a good outcome. And I live off referrals.
Right. So how do
And I
you
just, sorry,
no,
excuse
no, no,
me.
you're fine. I was gonna say, how do you take notes with your clients and their dogs, or how does that work? You've just got it dialed in
No,
because
I asked them what they want. I said, what do you want your life to look like with your dog? And let's make it happen.
I
So
love it.
somebody will call me back. I want my dog to go to the grocery store. All right, I meet at the grocery store. I want my dog to go to the restaurant. All right, I meet you at the restaurant. I want my dog on a plane. All right, we'll get your dog on a plane. So it's like whatever they want, we get. So because it's just about once you learn that communication, it's everything. It's like just
Mm-hmm.
it's just like talking to a human. But when we use our human emotions and complex thoughts and stuff, that it's not helping the dog and you're not communicating. Think about like animal communicators come to me for dog training and they'll say stuff like, oh, the dog just doesn't like the couch. I'm like, okay, let me help you train your dog. Like I feel like if you could communicate with dogs, that wouldn't be an issue. But what do I know?
The,
So
apparently,
I'm
you
like
know
a
a lot, which is good. You know what I mean?
I'm a
Like,
therapist for dogs, pretty much, and
yeah.
getting them off those meds. And the thing is, a PhD behavior dog behavior professor, whatever, PhD dog behaviorist, all they do is give drugs. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. They don't do
Mm-hmm.
any of what I do or even recommend me. And people will say stuff about certifications. So first of all, dog training is not a regulated field, and all certifications that are current are based on outdated science. So, yeah.
Well, I feel like there's even with technology and obviously there's a lot of information, but you
Hmm.
consistently see, and this is just kind of like generally speaking, you're like, hey, we did a new study and we found out some a lot more information and all that stuff. And
Hmm.
it's got to keep up with that stuff. But at
Yeah.
the same time, like you're out there living it. You're out there doing it day to day. You're going, hey, this is what I'm seeing. And it sounds like you've got it figured out to where it's I wouldn't say it's like pretty much. It's almost kind of the same thing with every dog. And most, would you? Is
Mm.
it safe to say that most humans were just not patient with our dogs? Is that what the biggest issue is
Yes.
too?
I get paid to be patient. That's what I always tell them.
Like,
Well, it's because
I get
they don't
paid to
wait
be
long
patient.
enough, and then they get aggravated, and the dog feels that, and then the dog starts acting weird. And you're like, what's wrong with you? When your
Yeah.
dog acts weird, I want you to look inside yourself and say, what is going on with me? Because your dog is reacting to something going on with you.
Yep.
I always tell people that, and it's like it's about teaching the humans, but it's not necessarily about teaching the humans. It's about creating a relationship between two separate beings who communicate differently, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And a lot of it's a lot it's body position, it's touch, and it's silence. And it's like respecting a person. Like somebody comes up to a dog and you can tell they're scared, you're gonna get bit, your fucking fault. Like
Yep.
respect them, let them come to you. Because that's what I want. I want them to trust and respect me. And that's how I get everything that I get so fast.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Of course. So
Yeah.
let's talk like a little bit more about the business side is
Hmm.
where do you see
Yeah.
yourself like what are some things that you want to start putting in place to maybe either
Hmm.
automate your business or make easier and kind of like what's your goal right now? You have some really
Hmm.
healthy revenue, which is great. It's obvious providing you a
It's
living, which is
crazy. It's all me, everything.
that's great.
Like I like every
What do you
single
see
thing
the
you see is
business
me.
where do you see
So,
your business going like maybe in the next year, 2 years, or let's just say even the next 5 years?
mhm,
Like obviously you have a super
mhm,
passion for this and really it just comes down to like, hey, how can I continue to be organized and do all that stuff and help more people and all that jazz? You
mhm.
mentioned something about some online stuff too, which is huge. So
Yeah,
what
I'm
does it look
starting
like?
to do like online, like I'm starting to do, just like unofficial online classes right now on Facebook while I'm building up my courses for my website. But
Nice.
if you want me like real quick on Facebook, it's $50. You just message me. I got you. Because I don't do this for the money, but the money came. And I
Well, of
feel like
course.
the purpose, like when it's like purpose, like I'm just like purpose driven and I'm driven by my heart. And I'm like, oh my God, I have a house, I have a car. Thanks, Kenny.
So
Like,
that
yeah.
yeah, I mean, and that's obviously we all have to have a living.
Okay,
We all have
so
to pay
where I want
groceries
to
and all that stuff.
grow.
Yeah, where do you want to grow? Like obviously
Okay,
you said some
so
online stuff. You love the in person, and it sounds like you're just
mhm.
testing some of the online stuff to make sure that it's just as effective. Is that fair to say?
Yes, and it's well, Yeah, because I can help on video, but if it's like something bad where I need to be there and feel the energy and stuff like that, I'll give them information on how to keep the dog safe and what to do until I get there.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll take videos, like if I'm working with like that kind of dog, I'll take videos and then send it to them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I've realized that the more that I help people, just that's just the kind of person I am. Like I'm getting paid a lot because I'm taking these dogs that nobody else will take, you know? So like that takes a lot more money because, it's a lot more liability. And then I'm also boarding these dogs. And so I'm working with this nonprofit to where we are going to get donations and we're going to get other homes and we are going to use those other homes as more places to train
Nice.
and and
So this
I'm
thing is
training.
snowballing.
Yeah, so I'm doing this women empowerment thing with these high school kids because I don't know if you
Love it.
know, suicide is the highest in New Mexico of children and kids and
And that's
teenagers.
terrible. That's not even fair. You know what I
And when
mean?
I was a
So
kid, like I was just like, I don't think I mattered or anything like that, and I don't want any girl to feel like that. Like,
yeah.
can you help me? And I'm like, I'm fucking empowered. I can do that, dog. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So that's what I do. I go in there and I motivate people. I'm like, no, you're not weak. You're strong. Tell a dog what to do. You know? And so like
Yeah.
I really like to bring girls in and just show them like, look what you can do, like look what you can do. And then they can work for me or go out and do their own thing. And we're also starting to do some merch with our leashes and
Mm-hmm.
also work. And I'm also working on this publication, and I got all the Freedom of Information Act of all the shelters and rescues. So you'll see that
Nice.
soon. That they do not, euthanasia is categorized under miscellaneous vet expenses. So donors don't know that all their money could be going to killing dogs. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I'm
Wow.
just like this
So
fact, this fact, this fact. We're growing.
yeah, I was gonna say you're on a
It happens organically.
I
To
can
be
tell
honest
that.
with you,
Yeah, and I
I
think
don't
that's
plan.
great because you have a good service and it's not something that is like it will always be needed because there's so many people that have pets, you know what I mean? So I think that's awesome that you started out just, hey, I'm pretty good at this to like, all right, now I can get money. Now you're starting to grow like
Hmm.
more online and do all this stuff. You're seeing that there's a huge need for this, which I think
Hmm.
is fantastic. It sounds like you're going to start kicking some butt. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and
And
asking
obviously
for that
like,
money was like really empowering for me.
yeah,
I'm like, nope, they're $4,000, and that's how much it is now. So like, and I'm like, because I have a wait list, and then I'll hang up before I'll get begging and begging and begging. You know what I mean? And I'm
of
like, nope,
course.
but nope,
Well, that's
and
good. And it's you're not here and it sounds like
here to help.
you're not here to get rich. You're here to like, hey,
No.
if I can get paid more money, we can put more systems in place. We can help more people. We can help more dogs. Like it's just a big snowball effect, which I think is huge. That's you got me all fired up about it. I mean, that's a
And it's new.
you're doing a
It's
good
new.
thing. You know what I mean? And that's
But think about like humans. Think about like humans, and that's kind of new. The mental health, the behavioral health. Think
right,
about all
right.
these people talk about ADHD and all that stuff. Well, why don't we apply that to dogs in the way that their nervous system works, the way that their brain works, and the trauma they've been through? Okay, so like think about in the wild, calm, quiet traveling. They're in shelter. And then people are going in, hi, baby. And then they get bit, and that dog dies. And that person, I do not like anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, or like the medical dogs, you see them online. Oh, they're so abused, and they're like they haven't eaten. I want somebody to rescue that dog, but they do, and everybody's like, "Oh, you're so amazing," and then they kind of like baby that dog a little bit, and then that dog gets healthy, and that dog starts to bite them and
Yeah.
get aggressive, and then they put that dog down. Everybody's like, "Oh, I totally understand." I'm like,
It can be fixed.
yeah, everybody's okay when you rescue them. Everybody's okay when you kill them, I guess. And I'm
Yeah,
also
right.
thinking, like, let's save money. Like, New Mexico needs money, like 480 million on killing dogs. Like, come on.
That's crazy, y'all. You just heard that.
Yeah.
That
We
is
cannot
so
even feed
wild.
our children here, you
So,
know?
so Megan, tell everybody where they can reach you at. Obviously, you mentioned Facebook. Like, you guys
Hmm.
go look up Rescue Dogs Training on Facebook. If you guys are interested in her service, we'll actually link some of this stuff below too as well. Um, but and then tell me your location. You're in New Mexico.
Yes.
Where are you exactly at?
I'm in the East Mountains. It's south of Albuquerque, but I work all over. I go wherever I'm needed. And I go. I go to the house because dogs learn environmentally. So
Hmm.
if you go to facility, you're like, oh, look how good my dog is. And that's a waste of money because you get home dog same.
Yeah. So you're even saying like, man, if you could even train other people across the country to do this and be able to not only help them make some extra money, but they're doing a really good thing. Sounds like you've
Hmm.
built it quite an empire, dear, which is huge. So I'm excited for you. This is great. This is totally great. Megan,
Never thought like,
guys.
what is my life? It's happened.
No, it's cool. Well, you just turned like a passion project. I mean, we were talking earlier, like, you come from a marketing background. What are some other things that you've done? Like, and I think this is
Publishing,
important.
business development, director of communications,
You guys, and she's done all this stuff and it's led into this, right? And probably a lot of those things that she's
communication.
learned is it's so applied to this, which I think is huge. I think for anybody listening, it's really important, especially in entrepreneurship.
Hmm.
If you're trying to figure out, kind of what to do, or what you're calling or whatever, I think it's important. Just like Megan does example, and I've been done the same thing. Is like we can just keep trying things until we find that spot that we kind of fit into.
Hmm.
And it sounds like you have fit in just perfect. Like you're rocking and rolling. So
Well,
guys,
thank you.
I wanna thank you guys so much. Megan, you have been awesome. We really appreciate you guys listening in, and we appreciate you, Megan. You guys, if you have questions, if you're having problems with your dogs, guess what? They're all fixable, according to Miss Megan
Hmm.
Perkins with Rescue Dog
People
Training.
can change. If old people can change, old dogs can learn new tricks.
Let's
And
go.
never give up on a dog. That is
I
my
love it.
line.
I love it. Well, Megan, thank you so much. We'll probably revisit in a year. We'll probably have you back on in a year, see how
I
things
love
are and
it.
all
There'll
that
be all
stuff.
kinds of
So,
cool stuff going on.
hey, I really appreciate your time and everything, guys. And we'll be linking all of our stuff below. You guys reach out to Megan. If you're having issues with your dog, don't euthanize
Sorry
them.
about
Get
this.
them figured out. Thanks, Megan. We'll see you guys on the next episode. We appreciate y'all for listening. We'll see you on the next one.